What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update number 35. Super duper, we're cracking right through these transfer updates. This one, absolutely massive in terms of updates from Manchester City. So make sure that you stay tuned for all the latest news. First, I want to say before we start the video, though, we've now smashed past 900 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed. It means a lot to me. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers, so if you're new around here, make sure you have subscribed with notifications on. We'll crack on with the video. We're going to crack on with the ins. Where do we start? One deal's more simple, one deal's more complicated. We've got more news with ins as well. We'll get on with that in a moment. We'll start with the simple, and that is Riyad Mahrez. BBC sources, they're saying that Mahrez looks like he'll be a Manchester City player come the end of the week. That's okay. Reliable sources coming from the Sunday Mirror and the Telegraph, they've also said the same thing. So we're expecting Riyad Mahrez to be a Manchester City player come Friday or Saturday. Now, Riyad Mahrez, he's been left behind in the United Kingdom by Leicester to work on his fitness, so he won't be going on their pre-season tour wherever they're going. And this is ahead of the move to Manchester City, according to the BBC. So, like I said, we're waiting for the end of the week, and he should be a Manchester City player. The Mirror, they've been reporting some figures. They've said it's a £67 million deal. I don't know if that's £67 million in straight-up cash, or whether it's £60 million in cash and maybe £7 million in add-ons. But they're reporting it's going to be around £200,000 a week wage. Woo! Imagine being on £200,000 a week wage. That'd be incredible, wouldn't it? But apparently Man City could announce this deal at any one time, so it even could come today. I doubt it, but it could come today. He's still needing his medical. He's going to still need his contract signed. He's still going to have to film his presentation in Manchester City, of course, to announce it. It could come today. I highly doubt it. Probably later in the week. I'd probably say Friday be my bet, but it could come Thursday. We'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping, so keep an eye on my Twitter, so make sure you check me out. Follow me on there. Link to that's in the description below. I'm hoping in the next 24 hours, or at least some point today, on my Twitter, I'll be able to retweet some source that suggested that Riyad Mahrez is either on his way to Manchester or has arrived in Manchester, has been spotted in Manchester or arriving at Manchester City's football academy. I'm hoping for something along them lines. We are expecting Riyad Mahrez to be a Manchester City player, though, come the end of the week. So we're finally going to get one over the line ready for our pre-season tour in the United States, which we fly out on Monday. We're going to move on to the more complicated deal. There is a lot to get through with this, so stay tuned. This is Jorginho we're talking about, of course. Now, yesterday we reported that Chelsea were trying to hijack the deal. Further sources in Italy have supported this claim, saying that Chelsea do want Jorginho. They're wanting him, they're stepping up their interest, and Manchester City, in response to this big chess piece that I've been talking about in all of my transfer updates, Man City moving their chess piece, calling the bluff basically, and they're linking themselves with Pjanic, again, of Juventus, who of course would cost more money. Now, Jose Alvarez here, everyone's favourite Twitter source, very reliable in Manchester City. He says that Chelsea are indeed interested in Jorginho. They are also looking at other alternative targets, as you would. You don't just go in with one target. He says that Jorginho wants Champions League football, though. His agent wants him at Manchester City, but Chelsea and Sarri, obviously Chelsea still haven't appointed Sarri. We're still 2 months later speaking about that, still not being sorted, but they are trying to convince Jorginho to join Chelsea rather than Manchester City. And it reminds me slightly of a deal. You remember a few seasons back when Pellegrini was appointed Man City manager and we wanted Isco, and Pellegrini, I'm sure, was having phone calls with him, trying to convince him to join him and Manchester City, and he ended up making his own decision and joining Real Madrid. Well, Jorginho's going to be given the same choice. He's basically got an opportunity to go and join a wonderful club, with Manchester City currently being champions, go and work with a wonderful manager like Pep Guardiola, or he's probably going to be given the option to go and sign for Chelsea instead, and he can go and work with his manager that he previously worked with at Napoli, who he knows he gets along with and knows things will be working out. So he's going to be given the choice. Now, Radio CRC in Italy, they've been saying that talks between Manchester City and Napoli have frozen. That means talks have stopped for the time being. There's a disagreement over £2 million in bonus. In my opinion, Napoli are just looking for an excuse. They've been delaying this now for about 2 weeks or so. Do you remember when I broke the news saying that Man City finally got the breakthrough, and the sources in Italy were kind of a little bit misled? Damasio, who's one of the most reliable sources out there, had been kind of misled. Well, basically, he's not been misled. Napoli have just basically up the price a little bit, and they've been hoping that Sarri will go to Chelsea. Of course, Sarri's still employed by Napoli. They'll know exactly what's happening with regards to that. They obviously feel like he's closing in on Chelsea. They want a bidding war. They want more money. That's basically what this is down to. And Manchester City, it seems, are more than prepared to walk away, because apparently Chelsea, according to Radio CRC, are prepared to pay as much as €10 million more than what Manchester City are prepared to pay. That's £7 to £8 million. That's incredible. That they could be getting him for over £50 million. Man City obviously sticking to their guns, saying they want him for around £44 million plus a few £1 million in add-ons. Now Jorginho, he's flown out. He's no longer in Brazil. I said that he was staying in Brazil. He was staying with his family. He was staying in his mum's house. He's flown back. He's on an international flight. I'm fairly sure the plane that he was on, that I've seen it yesterday night, was an Air France plane. That means he'll have arrived at Paris, and then obviously the sources in Italy have been saying that he's flying back to Naples, so he won't be flying into the United Kingdom, not today anyway, but he's flown back to Naples. Obviously he'll be having his meetings with all of his family and his agents and his friends and everything, saying his goodbyes, because they're expecting him to leave. I mean, Naples already signed a replacement. Imagine how embarrassing it's going to be if Chelsea don't appoint Sarri, they walk away, Antonio Conte or someone else is left in charge. They don't want Jorginho, and Naples mess Man City about too much, and Man City move on to alternative targets, which they are getting linked with and inquiring about. We'll get onto that in a bit. Imagine how embarrassing it's going to be on their behalf now that they've had to sell him for a cut price deal, or they're stuck with a player that they thought they were going to get rid of, and they've already signed his replacement. This could get a little bit stupid, in my opinion. We're waiting to see how things go there. But at the moment, look at the bookmakers. It's neck and neck between Manchester City and Chelsea. I mean, Man City were 20-1 on favourites. They've drifted far apart from that now. I think last time I checked, Chelsea were even favourites to sign him, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's just fans putting on money, basically. We're waiting to see, basically, the ball's in Napoli and Jorginho's court. Who does Jorginho want to play for? Man City have always reiterated during their time that if Jorginho wants to join them and players want to join Manchester City, they will join Manchester City. And if they don't, then Manchester City don't want the players to be there at the club, basically. They don't want players there for money, and that's basically the reason that he'd be going to Chelsea, is because they're willing to pay Napoli more money, and obviously going to pay Jorginho more money to convince him to join them, because he's not got Champions League football. So basically you're offering them more money. It's the same with Sanchez. More money was put on the table to him, and Manchester City stuck to the guns. And it's the same with Dani Alves last year. PSG, again, willing to just give Dani Alves that little bit more money and this illustrious lifestyle and things like that. It's amazing how far Manchester City's come, because it used to be Man City that were doing this. Man City now trying to take a different approach. I've only got one little slight frustration with this Jorginho deal, and that's the fact that it's taken so long. I mean, there's 5 weeks left of the window there or thereabouts. We've waited 6 weeks for this Jorginho deal without really pushing ahead with any of the other players that we've been linked with. I mean, I've heard Lamina of Southampton, I've heard Seri of Nice, I've heard Kovacic and obviously Real Madrid, and I've heard Pjanic as well of Juventus, costing a lot of money there. But there we go. Like I said, there's hoping to get a bidding war. I'm sure we'll have more updates on this Jorginho and Mahrez deal, so if you are interested, make sure that you are subscribed, notifications on. We'll have a video up on that tomorrow. Moving on, we've got more ins, and like I said, with Kovacic, Man City getting linked with them, and apparently Man City, in response to this Jorginho thing, have made first contact, and they've acquired about Kovacic, and that's according to the Mirror. But it would probably cost more than what Jorginho will, so Man City have been stubborn over the price. Yeah, they're going to be left with an option where they have to pay more money and stuff like that. So it's all a bit confusing. I mean, Pjanic is going to cost more money too. But last bit of the ins is Rafael Leão. You remember that youngster from Sporting Lisbon that I've been reporting on a few weeks back? Apparently, according to Portuguese sources, they reported that he's had his future resolved. He's going to be signing a 5-year deal with Borussia Dortmund. Now, I get a feeling a lot of youngsters like Borussia Dortmund and going to Monaco. Two clubs renowned for doing, bringing up youngsters, making them into very good players, then sell them on for high profits. Both clubs are very good at doing that. That's probably the way he's leaning. We're seeing Jadon Sancho do that. We're seeing Leão do that now. But Manchester City probably won't be signing him. But it won't be the first time we've had Portuguese sources be wrong with stuff and end up not being the case. We have to wait for his agent to talk there. We're going to move on to the outs now. First player we're going to be discussing is Mix Skurund. Oh, yeah. You might not know who he is. You might do. He's an American-Norwegian player. A commercial signing by Manchester City. Won't ever touch near the Manchester City side. Apparently he's had 4 offers on the table, one of them being Swedish side IFK Göteborg. That's where he was last season, but he doesn't know where his future is going to lie. But apparently, this is why I've included this in the Man City update though, is because apparently Manchester City and Umbro will be deciding where he goes, so his sponsor's going to be deciding where he plays his football. That's very strange in my opinion. I'd love to be able to say I can make sense of that one, but I'm not too sure why the sponsor is deciding where the player will end up. I can only presume that that's a money issue. They're going to want him to be branded, basically. Why Man City are involved in this, I do not know. How strange. Moving on, Man City returned to pre-season training yesterday, and one player I saw there was Mahrez, the goalkeeper. He was at the CFA yesterday. He was training, and I was under the illusion that he'd be spending pre-season with NAC Breda before signing for them on loan, but he's obviously been at Manchester City. Man City have just promoted Daniel Grimshaw to their third choice goalkeeper. I'm not too sure if Brady's pre-season started or not, but I'm not too sure why he's at Manchester City still, Mahrez, but we'll keep an eye on that one. I'll try and get some clarification there. It's a bit of a strange one. Talking of goalkeepers, we'll move on to Angus Gunn, and according to Sky Sports News, Southampton are closing in on a deal to sign Angus Gunn, £10 million. This according to the Telegraph. MEN, they're also reporting it is £10 million that will seal the deal, and that deal is agreed. So we'll wait and see on that front. And then Zinchenko, this is Sky Sports News, they've been saying that Wolves are closing in on the signing of him for £16 million. However, Zinchenko does want to have a word with Pepsi where he stands with having first team football next season, and obviously squad rotation, see if he's in his plans. If not, then I expect him to take up talks with Wolves before ending up signing for them instead. We've got a bit of contract news. Paulo Fernandes has signed a new deal at Manchester City after a very successful loan spell at NAC Breda last season. So well done to Paulo, absolutely fantastic news. And Dutch sources have now said that within the next 24 hours they're expecting Paulo Fernandes to go and join up with NAC Breda and sign for them on loan until the end of the season. So like I said, been a very busy transfer update over the past 24 hours. I'm expecting the next 24 hours to be just as exciting, if that's what you want to call it, but just as busy for me. So if you are interested, make sure you slap a like on the video so I know you're enjoying the videos, and make sure that you subscribe with your notifications on. You want to be kept up with all the latest things warming up this week in transfers. We're expecting to sign Mahrez, and maybe we're expecting Man City to walk away from Jorginho officially, and maybe they go after Pjanic. Kovacic. Let me know who you think Man City should sign as an alternative to Jorginho, because Man City, it looks like, are going to have to look elsewhere. There we go. That's been the video. Like I said, make sure you subscribe, notifications on. Make sure you leave a big thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. Links to my Twitter, my Instagram, they're in the description below, along with my emails where hit me up with any business inquiries. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel, JSGC Gaming, and my brother's partner channel, Mixed, do Mixology Drinks. I'll leave the links to them at the end of the video. You can go and like and subscribe over there, and you can also go and check out any of my previous videos that I've done, any vlogs, football videos, etc, etc. Check out yesterday's transfer update if you wish. I'll leave links to them end of the video. You can go check them out, and I'll see you all again tomorrow for the next Manchester City transfer update. So I'll see you then for daily football content, daily football Manchester City transfer updates. Have a nice day, everyone. Peace. Ciao for now.